It's all really good on lifestyle. We're joined by Ken Barnes. I describe Ken as, I would have first said to him about him that he was an entrepreneur. I would have second said about him being a national youth leader. The third thing now I have to say is that he's an author. He's a very good author. He's an inspiring person. He gives a lot of youths empowerment. And now, giving adults empowerment as well. Do you remember we had Ken up, before I let you see him, we had him up earlier this year, the 7 principles of respect. The word on the street. And this was a lot to do with young people. But now, he's actually written the iFactor, the missing piece of the puzzle in most people's pursuit of success and happiness. I like that, I really do. So, formal introductions right now. Ken, how you doing?
Hi, Fran, how are you?
I'm fine. We were talking in the break.
Again.
Yeah, I was trying to get into this. We were talking in the break about the iFactor. This is such a wonderful book that I need to sit back, just like yourselves at home, and let him just talk and deal with this. So you're going to tell us the iFactor, what it means, why you wrote it, and the benefits, the people who read it, and the cards.
Talk about the cards.
Let me sit back.
Well, okay, you're leaving it all to me.
Yeah, man.
Well, Pam, you know, let's look at the way our lives go as adults, and you know, we all have our trials and tribulations, and invariably when we have things that go wrong and also go right, what we tend to do is look for reasons, look for answers. Why are these things happening in our life?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, too many people, when they're looking for answers, they look to their work colleagues, they look to their finances, they look to their spouse, they look to their children, they look to their friends. They look to all these reasons why their personal circumstances are not the way they should be. The premise of the iFactor is this, is that whenever you're looking for an answer to anything, good or bad, that's happening in your life, the first place you look is within yourself. Yes? There's a saying by Buddha, and it says, knowledge is wisdom. So when you read or you learn is wisdom. But when you understand oneself, you become enlightened.
Yes, yes.
My training method is what's called training for introspection. And introspection is simply a way where you look within yourself. So this is why the book is called The iFactor. In essence, what I'm saying in the book, it's my journey. I had a major incident happen to me about 10, 12 years ago, and I went through the same situation. You know, I was blaming a number of people around me as to why this happened. If you read the beginning of the book, you'll realize what happened to me. But then I came to a point, and it was for reading a book called Napoleon Hill, and it said in every adversity there's a seed of equivalent benefit, and when the pupil is ready, the teacher will appear. And I said, well, Ken, what questions, what can you learn from this? And I started to ask myself some fundamental questions. And in doing that, I learned so much about myself. And this is when I started this journey of asking myself some fundamental questions about different areas of my life. And at that time, I didn't realize I was going to put them in the book. But it's quite painful, let's be honest with you. You know, when things are going wrong, it's easy to blame someone else. It can be quite a painful process sometimes to be able to look at yourself first as the premise for all the answers you're looking. And what the iFactor does, it focuses on 52 areas of your life, from purpose, love,
52.
happiness, goal setting, family, children, work, areas that are fundamental to your growth. And it starts with a question. Each iFactor starts with a question. So, for example, it may, do my fears hold me back in life? And after it starts with a question, and then there's an actual passage to help you reflect on that question. So, I mean, if I would just and let me just show you. And I mean, I always like to.
like
we have
card,
these iFactor cards, and this was kind of a creative idea, and it's used as an engagement because I work with individuals in groups, and I work in the corporates, and we just found this worked incredibly well and engaging. So if I was to use the cards with you, Pam, and I was to say this, and I'll say, look, you know, you can either pick a card or cut the pack. Which would you prefer?
Okay, I'll cut the pack.
Okay, you cut the pack. So what have you had? This is a really interesting one. It's a question I asked myself. It's iFactor number 46, and it says, what do my actions say about my character? Okay, so that's iFactor number 46.
Right.
So the way you would work it now, so you'd go to the book.
Yeah.
And you'd go to the front and you'd find out where iFactor number 46 is. It's page 183.
183.
So let me just, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to actually just read.
Yeah.
So here we go. So this is the first question. So you're asking, what does my character say about my action? So that's the question. So if I just read this, because each iFactor is only about 2 minutes long. Very, very, very short passages, just to kind of help you shift in your thinking. And it just says, no, and this passage is just asking you about your character, because your character is about who you are in the dark, not who you are in public, but who you are in the dark. That's your real character. When no one's looking, who are you?
Who are you,
And invariably, who you are in the dark comes out in the light. So this is what this question, this iFactor asks you. So now you've read a question that's stimulating your thought. Normally people might run for a notepad. I've given you the space in the actual book to actually write your thoughts. And then you have some space here to actually write down your immediate thoughts here.
We could just
so it then becomes a journal. But if you speak to anybody, you must understand we can read and we can talk, but without action, nothing would change.
Nothing will change. You've got a little clipboard on all of these ones as well. As well as the text you've got. So it says your character determines how people will respond to what you do and say.
Well, I kind of designed the clipboard in each passage. It's like an executive summary. So each time, in each iFactor, what you'll see is a clipboard, which will be an executive summary. And I've also given you a famous quote by individuals about the particular subject. So after you've read and after you've written down your thoughts, you then move to the next page.
I like that one, though. Character is doing what's right when nobody's looking.
Exactly. But, you know, it's no good us always doing what's right when people
are there.
It's who are you, what you like in the dark, because that's intrinsically who you are. Yes. So, and then we have the next page is an action planner, and it's what I call the ARDs, and it's you write an action you're going to take to possibly improve or enhance your character. Very, very important. The reason, because you can't really take full commitment to the action unless you understand the reason, and it gives you clarity. So you're going to take an action, but why are you going to do it? And then you obviously need a date to make it a plan, so then you write the date. So this is what we call the ARDs, and each iFactor has this. It has the passage, the question, the journal, and the action step, and that's for 52 of them.
That's really good.
And I've been really, really blessed. This book has... in fact, Pam, I'll be honest with you, this book wasn't supposed to be written. And just tell you a little story. Obviously, I published the 7 Principles of Spectres last year. Some of the passages in the iFactor were written before that book. And when we published the book, we decided that we were going to put this on hold for a few years. But I'll be honest with you, as we all do, we go through some moments in life, because, you know, no matter how motivated you are, you go through life where things are not going to plan. You know, and I remember one day I was at home, and, you know, I had a really bad day. Something didn't really go right, and it was quite personal. And I went to my library and I picked up a book to read, to really gain some inspiration. And I said to myself, Ken, you know, you're great reading these books, but haven't you written a book that some people have? Haven't you written some passages? So I went to my Word document, opened a Word document, and you know something? I read it, the whole book, the whole passages, and I felt inspired. And I said, Ken, no, this has to be out here now, because it really helped me, the author, through. And actually producing this book was actually therapy for me. So this is why the iFactors come out only a year after.